This conference will now be recorded.
So, Kathy, are you there? Hello.
Yeah, Ramji. Yeah,
Can you please check your email ID? This is SHAH, right?
it's SHH. Yeah,
This is correct, right?
yeah, it's right.
So, I sent SHAH recording now. So, after this class, you can go through that. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
So, one, two, three, four, five. Five members attended. In spite of telling so many things yesterday, people were not serious about the classes. Okay. So, let me start for today's class. One minute. The system became very slow. Let me close all the apps. This is also not recorded, not like this. Okay. So yesterday I was talking about how to install the SQL Developer client and how to talk to the database. And I also told the important things about the primary key. What is the importance of the primary key and why do you have to create the primary key in the table, correct?
Yes.
If you don't create
Yes.
a primary key in the table, you cannot identify the record in a unique manner and you cannot do operations on that record, correct? That is a very
Yeah.
bad design if you don't have a primary key in the table. So any table when you're creating, you should have a primary key. Correct? Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. So now going forward, I'm going to teach you in the SQL Developer because SQL Developer is more advanced when compared to SQL Plus. So it is very easy to work in the SQL Developer when compared to SQL Plus. Getting it?
Yes.
So
Yes, Ram.
you can modify whatever the query you want in the same line. But in case of SQL Plus, it's not possible. For example, if I write some queries, let us start from employee where empid equal to 100. So now if I want to write this query again, where employee ID equal to 200. So what I have to do? Otherwise, if I did some spelling mistake in between, I have to go. It's difficult to go to that place and make the changes. You already saw that yesterday, right? I was facing a lot of problems for doing some modifications. Correct?
Yes. Yeah.
But in case of SQL developer, so wherever you want, you can just place the cursor. You can just place the cursor, and you can change whatever you want. You can change whatever you want. Getting it? So
Yeah.
you can modify the same query again and again. But in case of SQL Plus, you have to write the query again. If you want to execute the same query again, you have to write the query again. But here you need not. You need not. You can directly go and modify the query whatever you want, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can just modify the EMP ID equal to 100. And one more thing is, for example, if I run this query, yes, EMP ID equals to start from student, not EMP ID, SID, right? Where SID equals 100, student ID.
Yeah.
So I got the result. Suppose now I'm running one more query. Shall I start from employee where start from employee where EMP ID equal to 100, correct? So just select this and run it. Whatever you want to run it, just write the query and run it. Getting it? So now
Yeah.
again for some reason you want to run this query again. So just go to that line and run it. Getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
So you can this is called, this particular window is called query builder. This is the window where you are building the query. Getting it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This particular window is called query builder. Query builder where you build the query and execute the query. Send the query to database for execution. Any questions here?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, can you please mute your microphone? Yeah. So next, so now let me close this connection. Let me close this query builder window. So save changes. I don't want to save the changes. No. Then that window is closed. Correct.
Yes.
Now if I want to open the window again, if I want to open the window again. So what is your database? Our database is December 2019. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. So just right click on that. Right click on that and click Open SQL Worksheet. Open SQL
Equal.
Worksheet. The window will open. Getting it?
Yeah. Yes.
Right click and click on Open SQL Worksheet. The worksheet where you write the SQL queries, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So similarly, suppose if you want to disconnect from the database, you don't want this connection to be no longer required. Right click on that and click on disconnect. So
Okay.
that is disconnected now. Now if you go and type some select star from employee, select star from employee, if you go and run this query, it will give an error. It will not give an error. It's saying that select the connection. Right now it is not connected, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Because it is
Yes.
disconnected. So it will ask you to select the connection you want, which database you want to connect to. Where do you want to which database you want to send this query for execution? To which database you want to send this query for execution, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
you can tell that I want to send it to this particular December 2019, correct? Click OK.
Yes.
So it is asking me to enter the password, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
December 2019 is the password. Click OK. Now the query is sent to that particular database for execution because all the values are already saved. So here if you right click on this, if you right click on December 2019, click on properties, you can see the username is there, the host name is there, the port number is there, the asset is, everything is already saved, correct?
Correct.
The only thing is not saved is password, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why it is asking you to enter the password again. But if you want to save the password also, you can save it. December 2019, just select this save password. Then this password will be saved automatically, correct?
Yes.
Save. Click save, that is saved. So now if you want to disconnect now, disconnect it, disconnect, okay? Now
Mm-hmm.
it is disconnected. Open, close this windows. Yeah. So now it is disconnected. Now if you want to connect to the database again, right click and connect. When you connect, the window will automatically open, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So let's start from employee. It did not ask me password also. When I say connect, it did not ask me to enter the password because I saved the password also, correct?
Yes.
But earlier when I asked it to connect, it asked me to enter the password, correct? So
Yes.
everything,
Yes.
just right click and disconnect. If right now, sorry, this is December. Right click, you have to just connect, you have to just say disconnect or just say connect, or you can also go to the properties and see what is the username, password, and what are the details, and you can click on open SQL worksheet to open the query builder, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
everything, right click on that and see the options. Any questions?
No.
No.
Okay. So next thing is, so right now this is the only record available in the database in the employee table, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
So because there is only one employee working in my company, so I have only one employee record in the database. But maybe after 1 month, one more person joined my company. I hired one more person in my company. So one more record I have to insert, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Insert into employee values. EMP ID is 200. EMP name is some EMP name. Salary is 2300. Just spelling wrong. Just go and change the spelling wrong. Spelling, correct the spelling. That is easy right here.
Yes.
Yes.
Click this and click run this. One row is inserted, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now I want to insert one more record. 300 and salary is 3300. One more row is inserted, correct?
Yes.
Now let me create one more record. 400. 4400. So there are 3 employees joined in my company. So after 1 month, so I created 3 records in the employee table, correct?
Yeah.
Now if I go and connect to the database from the SQL Plus client, how many records I'll get?
4.
Records.
Only one
But
record because I did not commit the
okay.
data, correct?
Commit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you commit it, now if you go and ask the database give me the data present in employee table from this client. Obviously the same database, right? The data is present in the database. You are connecting from the SQL Plus client or the SQL developer client, but you are talking to the same database, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
You will have all these 4 records, correct?
Mm.
And one more advantage with the SQL developer is, obviously, do you think that writing the queries is easy in SQL developer or SQL Plus?
SQL Plus.
SQL
Developer.
developer.
Oh, you think SQL Plus is easy?
SQL
Oh,
developer.
sorry. SQL developer. Sorry.
So the problem with the SQL Plus is, for example, let me alter the table. Alter table employee add emp name varchar2. I want to increase the length to 15 or 17 or 18. So this is the length of the column. Alter table employee add
One more parenthesis.
one more parenthesis. Column being added already exists in the table. I'm adding same column again, which is wrong. I have to modify it, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to modify the length of the column. Now the table is altered. Now if you describe employee table, you can see the employee name is 18 characters, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now if I insert into employee values, employee ID is 700, employee name is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. This is the name of a person. I have 18 characters in it, okay?
Mm.
Salary is maybe 2500. Missing comma, where is that? Oh, this one, okay. So 2500, okay. Now row is created. Now when I say select start from employee, so I got this value, correct? But if I one second, if I add two more columns, alter table employee, add gender, varchar 2 of 6. So let me insert in update. Let me update employee, set gender equal to female, where EMPID in 100 comma 700 comma 200. I hope everyone knows what is in class.
Yes.
Total 3 rows are updated, correct? Because whether
Yes.
employee is equal to 100 or 700 or 200, it is our condition, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's start from employee. I got this record now. Let me alter one more. Let me add one more column. Alter table employee, add is number of 3,
One
number
more.
of 3. Okay. So
Yeah.
update employee, set age is equal to 34, where EMPID in, where EMPID is 100 comma 300 comma 400. So 100, 300, for total 3 rows are updated, correct? So
Yes.
I'll commit all the uncommitted records. So let's start from employee. Okay. So tell me a few more columns. I want to alter table employee, add. What is the other column we can add? Salary, gender, age, employee name, employee ID. What else? What we can add for employee?
Phone number.
Hmm?
Address.
Address.
Okay. What else? Apart from the address?
Phone number.
Department ID.
Department ID. Department name.
Okay. So phone number is also, you can add phone number.
Email
Number
ID.
of 9, number of 10, correct? So update employee, set phone number, equal to some phone number, where EMPID in 100 comma,
700.
okay, EMPID, because one phone number will be there for one employee. Same phone number cannot be there for multiple employees, right? I'm making the data realistic, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So let's start from employee. Okay, so let me add one more column. Alter table employee, add. You told something else. Phone number and department ID, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Department ID, number of 4. Alter table employee, department ID. Okay. There's some extra parenthesis came here.
After number. Yeah. No. Space. Mm.
Alright. This is the problem with SQL developer. SQL plus. Number of 4. Okay. So let's start from employee. So now let me alter table employee. Just try to see the syntax. Try to understand. Try to learn the syntax. That's why I'm writing so many times. Alter table employee at department name varchar2 of 15. Okay. So update employee set department name equal to human resources. Okay. Where empid in 100 comma 700 comma 300. All these three employees belong to HR department. Okay.
Okay.
So those three rows are updated. Now if we say select start from employee. Okay. Now look at this. So
Yeah.
this is the employee ID column. This is the employee name, salary, gender, age, phone number, and department ID and department name. Correct?
Yeah.
Then the first record is this is the employee ID, this is the employee name, this is the salary, this is the gender, age is not there, phone number is not there for the first employee, and department ID is this human resources. Correct?
Yeah.
Sorry, department name. Department name is human resources. Correct? So
Yeah.
this is the first record, and this is the second record. And this is the third record. Correct? Then again, this is the fourth record. This is the fifth record. So if you look at these results, will you understand in the first look that is it readable?
No.
So that is a problem with the SQL Plus client. If you go on increasing the number of columns, correct?
Yeah.
You go on increasing the number of columns in the table. So the results are not in a friendly display format. Getting it?
Yeah.
So, but if you run the same query in SQL developer, select start from employee, you will get all the things neatly, correct?
Yeah.
Getting it? So even if the number
Yeah.
of columns are more, still you get it in a neatly display manner. It will display it neatly. Understood? So this
Yes.
is one advantage with SQL developer when compared to SQL Plus. But this is not only the advantage. This is a minor advantage. The major advantage with the SQL developer is it shows everything in the graphical manner. It means, so this is the connection, right? This is the connection, correct?
Yeah.
In this,
Yes.
you connect to the database. You connected to the database, and the connectivity established. Now it will display all the tables present in the database. If you look here, this is the employee table, sample table, student table. All these tables are present in the database, correct?
Yes.
And if you click on the employee table, so you can see this is the column name, this is the column name, this is the column name, gender is the column name, age is the it will give you the description about the table, correct?
Yes.
And if you click at the sample, this is the sample table, the column name is only one column, this is the data type, correct?
Yeah.
Similarly, if you go to the student table, you see all the four columns: student ID, student name, marks, and age, correct?
Yeah.
And if you go to the employee table and see, if you look here, this is the tab called columns. It will display all the columns in the table, in the employee table, the column name, the column type, and everything, correct? But if you click on the data, if you don't click on the columns and click on the data tab, it will display the data in the table. Getting it?
Yeah.
So, if you click on the constraints, so this is the constraint name is Ramji. Yesterday I created one constraint called Ramji, which is a primary key, correct? The constraint type is primary key, correct?
Yes.
So everything is represented in a graphical manner, correct? You have
Yeah.
a GUI where you can graphical user interface where you can see the list of tables, the columns in the table, the constraints on the table. Everything is easily shown on the screen, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
But in the SQL Plus, you don't have that graphical representation. It's a you're running the commands from the command prompt, correct? SQL command
Yes.
prompt, correct? So
Yeah.
this is called
Yes.
SQL command prompt because if you look at this, there's a SQL prompt here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't have any graphical representation here. So do you think that it is better to use SQL Developer or SQL Plus?
SQL developer.
SQL developer.
So not only tables, there are so many other things in the database which you don't know. So we can create the procedures, we can create the functions. I told yesterday, day before yesterday. So there are some predefined functions in database like count function, max function, min function. I told about the aggregate functions, correct?
Yeah.
So, but at the
Mm.
same time, I also told you if you want to create your own function, you can create that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can create a function, and if you create a function, then you can see those functions here. Right now, I did not create any function, so nothing is there in this. But if you create a function, that functions will be visible here. All the functions that you created will be shown here. All the procedures that you created will be shown here. Okay. All the packages you created will be shown here. Getting it?
Yes.
All the triggers you have created will be shown here. So there are so many concepts in database. Of course, you are not going to learn about all those things. Don't worry about that. So you can create your own functions. You can create your own procedures. You can create your own triggers. All those things will be shown here. You can create your own tables, correct?
Yes.
And you can create a views. You can see all the views present in the database. So everything will be graphically represented here. Everything is graphically shown here. So that is the reason this is very easy to use. Even for writing the queries and for executing the queries, it is very easy when compared to SQL Plus, correct? So because whenever I want to run the select star from employee, I don't write the query again. I just go and select this and execute it, correct?
Correct.
But in the SQL Plus, every time I have to write the select star from employee, correct or not? I cannot execute the previously executed query, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here I just go and select the query and click run. That's all. The query will be sent to database. If I want to run this query, just select this and click enter. I mean click run. Getting it?
Yeah.
So definitely it is very easy to use. So that's the reason in real time the SQL developer client is used very widely when and no one uses SQL Plus. No one uses SQL Plus for sure. But why did we learn SQL Plus first? Because we need not install anything. It will be automatically installed along with the Oracle database. That's the reason we use SQL Plus. Agreed?
Yes.
But for SQL developer, you have to install that in your laptops, correct? In real time, every company will use either SQL developer or Toad. Toad is also similar kind of graphical tool. Using the Toad client also, you can connect to the database and execute the queries. It looks almost same, like the look and feel is also same like SQL developer. Getting it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you learn SQL developer, it is sufficient. You need not learn multiple clients, correct? Because
Correct.
because you're talking to the database. Whatever the client you use, that's your wish. You want the data. Whether you use a SQL developer or whether you use a Toad or whether you use SQL Plus, that's your wish, correct?
Correct.
Your aim is to get the data from the database and update the data in the database and insert the records in the database and delete the records from the database and alter the table definitions and create the tables, correct? And drop the tables.
Correct.
These are the things you're doing. These are the things you're doing, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any questions till now?
No.
No.
So I'm trying to explain in this class the importance of the SQL developer and making you familiar with the SQL developer client.
Mm.
Did everyone understand that?
Yeah, Ramji.
Yes.
Yep.
So I want
Yeah.
everyone to install the SQL developer in your laptops and start practicing with the SQL developer going forward and don't use the SQL Plus anymore.
Okay, Ramji.
Okay.
And one more thing, in the SQL Plus, for example, when I exit and when I log in again, SQL Plus. So it is asking me to enter username and password. I'm not entering the host name. I'm not entering the port number. I'm not entering the SID, correct?
Yeah.
I'm just entering the username and password and connecting to the database. How it is possible? Because if the client wants to talk to the server, the client has to know where the server is installed, in which laptop server is running, correct? On which port number
Yes.
the server is running, correct? The database server,
Yes.
agreed?
Yes.
And
Yes.
what is the SID of the database? It has to know all those details to make a connectivity to the database, correct?
Yeah.
But I'm just mentioning username and password, nothing else. It is connecting to the database, agreed?
Okay.
Yes.
It is getting connected to the database. I did not enter the host name, I mean IP address, I did not enter the port number, I did not enter the SID, I did not enter anything. I just entered the username and password and it connected to the database. How does the SQL Plus client knows where the database is present? What is the IP address of the database? What is the port number of the database? What is the SID of the database? How does the SQL Plus client knows that? Without those details, how it is getting connected to the database, correct?
Yes.
Did you get that? Did you get that doubt or not?
Yes.
So this SQL Plus client is installed along with the database, correct? When the database is installed, automatically the SQL Plus client is also installed. So as part of the installation, the SQL Plus client knows where the database is present and what is the port number and what is the SID. It already knows about it because it is installed along with the database, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
It is installed along with the database. This as part of the installation, the client knows about the server details. The client knows about the
Yes.
server details and you are able to connect to the database. Just you have to say and you have to enter username and password. Other details are already known to the client because this client is installed along with the database installation, correct?
Yes.
But the SQL developer is not installed along with the database. You installed it separately. So SQL developer doesn't know anything about the database, correct?
Yeah.
That's why you
Yes.
are entering the host name and port number and SID in the SQL developer. Any questions here?
No.
No.
So, but if I want to connect to a different database, I don't want to connect to the database that is present in my laptop. I want to connect to a database present in maybe Varalakshmi's laptop. So then definitely the can you use the SQL Plus client
No.
because it is not asking me to enter the IP address and port number and all those things. It is directly connected to the database present in my laptop only. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is not asking me to enter those details. So I can connect to the database present only in my laptop. I cannot connect to the database present in Varalakshmi's laptop. Agreed or not?
Agree.
But using SQL Developer, can I connect to the database present in other laptops?
Yeah.
Yes.
Will everyone agree to that?
Yes.
Yes.
Actually,
Yes.
using SQL Plus also, you can connect to the other database present in other laptops, but you have to go and change the TNS nameset aura. In the ORCL, just display give the IP address of the host. Local host means the local mission. So by default, it is connecting to the local host, and on this port number with this SID, it is trying to connect to the database. It is using the details from the TNS names.aura. From this file, whatever the details are there, the SQL Plus is trying to connect to the database with these details. Correct?
Yes.
So just go and change the IP address here. Local host means local mission. So no, you don't want to connect to the database in the local mission. Just remove this and give whatever the IP address you want to give, and give the port number and give the service name. Then you will connect to that particular database. Correct? Then using
Yes.
SQL Plus also you can connect to the database. Getting it?
Yeah.
So the SQL Plus client will use the details from this file to make a connection to the database. To make a connection to the database, it is using the details from this particular file. Agreed?
Agree.
Because you specified local host here, you did not specify. It is automatically there when you install it. Correct?
Yeah.
But you can make the modifications here. Give the host name, give the port number, give the service name, then SQL plus client will use these details and make a connection to the database that is present in different laptop. Because SQL plus client is using the TNS names.ora, because SQL plus client is installed along with the database installation. So when you install the database, you get all these details. Correct? You get this file, TNS names.ora file. You get this file. So when you install the database, agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And SQL Plus is also installed along with the database installation. So SQL Plus also using the same file to make a connection to the database.
Okay.
Any questions?
No.
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 Am I going fast?
No.
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 So let me close this. So right now, if I don't make the changes in the TNS names.ora file, I will always connect to the database that is present in my local laptop, correct? Because it is
Yes.
the host is local host. Local host is nothing but local mission. The IP address of the local mission, getting it? So
Yes.
but in the SQL developer, when I right click, here I can give any IP address. It may not be my laptop IP. I can give any IP address. I can give any port. I can give any SID and connect to that particular database. Enter the username of that database and password of the database and connect to the database. Correct?
Yeah.
So even SQL Plus also I have to go and modify the TNS names.ora and I can connect to any database. Agreed?
Agreed.
But you have to go and modify in that particular file for making a connection to any database. But here you need not make modifications in any file. You can directly click on the right click on properties and just enter the details here, which is easy to enter. Obviously this one, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And at the same time, in the SQL developer, the advantage is you can have multiple connections. For example, this is another database. So go and check the properties. So this database is present in this particular mission, correct? And this
Yes.
is the port number on which this is the name of a mission.
Mhm.
Host name means it can be name of a mission or IP address. Anything is same, because every mission is identified. Every system, every laptop is identified by IP address, or it can be identified by name also. Every laptop will have a name. Correct? Do
Yes.
you know that? If you right click on this, if you right click on okay, if you open this PC and right click on this PC, click on properties. So this is the name of a mission. This is the name of my laptop, correct?
Yeah.
So my laptop is identified by the name. Agreed.
Agreed.
Or my laptop can be identified by the IP address also. That is your wish. How to identify the system to which database you want to connect. So if you have to know where the data in which laptop the database is installed. So the laptop has to be identified by IP address or it has to be identified by name. Correct?
Correct.
So here this is the name of a laptop where the database is installed, correct?
Yes.
And this is the port number and this is the SID. So when I click on connect, the connectivity will be established between the client, between the SQL developer client and this particular database, correct?
Mm.
So I can send a query to that particular database, not to the database present in my laptop. The database can be installed in any laptop, correct?
Yes.
So and one more thing, for example, and this is one more database. Right click on properties, and this is the name of the mission where the database is installed. Correct?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
this is the port number, and this is the SID, and this is the username, and this is the password. When I click on connect, the connectivity will be established to this particular database. Correct? For example,
Yeah.
if you have 5 friends, so one friend is living in one address, the other friend is living in other address, the other friend is living in other address. So you want to speak with a specific friend, so you have to go to that particular address. If you want to speak to another friend, you have to go to different address. Correct?
Yes.
Correct. So this is
Yes.
this is the
Yes.
address of my friend. Okay, if I want to speak with him, I have to create a connection with this particular address, correct? But if
Yes.
I want to speak with a different friend of mine, then I have to create a connection to that particular address. Right click properties. To this address, I have to I have to create a connection now, correct?
Yeah.
Getting it? Are you able to
Yes.
correlate or not?
Yeah, Ramji.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yes, Ramji.
So
Yes,
what is
Ram.
Yeah.
what I'm trying to explain in this class? I'm trying to explain the importance of the SQL developer client when compared to SQL plus client, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
So the
Yes.
what did I say? In the SQL developer client, so you can have multiple connections. So I mean, you can save. It's not you did not connect it. You did not connect it to the database. Just you saved the connection information. Correct? You saved the
Yes.
connection information. Agreed?
Yes.
Agree.
So this is one connection information. This is the other connection information. This is the other connection information. So to whichever the connection you want to connect, so just right click and click connect. It will connect to the database. Correct? Because the connection information is already saved. Agreed?
Agree.
Yes.
But in case of SQL Plus, you can connect to only one database at a time because you have to go and modify the TNS names.aura, correct? And
Yeah.
whichever the host name, whichever the port number, whichever the SID you specified in the TNS names.aura, you will connect to only that particular database by default, correct?
Correct.
Are you following this or you want me to repeat it?
No.
No.
But even if you don't understand about the SQL Plus, leave it because no one use SQL Plus in real time. So everyone use the SQL developer in real time. That's the reason I'm spending a lot of time to explain you about the importance of the SQL developer.
Yeah.
So I want everyone to complete the installation of SQL developer and I want everyone to practice the queries in the SQL developer.
Sure, Ramji.
Okay.
So whatever the query you want to write, you can write the queries. For example, you can alter table employee drop column. Which column I want to drop the age column, okay? I'm altering the employee table. What alteration I'm doing? I'm dropping the column called age, correct?
Yes.
So your table employee is altered, correct? Now go and check. Now go and check describe employee, correct? So now I don't have the age column, correct? I have only these columns now. If I want to drop, gender also, gender column is dropped. Now go and check employee description. So this is the employee. There is no gender column, correct? If I want to
Correct.
drop phone number also, if I want to drop phone number also, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Table employee is altered. See, and one more thing, these are the results of the previous queries, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can clear the if you see this symbol here, the second one,
There
okay,
is.
that is nothing but
Mhm.
clear. Just click on that, it will clear everything. So now so now if you describe the employee table, you see only employee ID, employee name, salary, department ID, department name. So I want to drop the column department ID. Okay, so I'm dropping the department ID column, and I want to drop the column department name. Okay, the department
Yes.
name is not there. Now go and check the description of the employee table. You have only 3 columns, and you can clear the results here if you want. Okay,
Okay.
so now go and check the select star from employee. You have only these 3 columns. You don't have any other columns because I dropped all the columns which I added. Correct?
Yes.
And suppose if you want to alter the table again, and this time you want to add the columns. You want to add department ID and department name. So add. So what should I write? Add. Tell me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Department ID,
Hmm.
Number
Path. Okay. Um,
and length.
Hmm. That's all.
parentheses.
So you can add multiple
Yes.
columns at the same time. Obviously, comma separated, department name, varchar 2 of 10, something like this.
Yes.
So control enter. Table employee alter. Now if you go to the description of the employee, you can see employee ID, employee name, salary, department ID, department name. Correct? So that's the reason there's a
Yes.
bracket here. Add when you open the bracket and closing the bracket, so you can do comma separated. How many columns you want to add, you can add all the columns. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why after the add, you're opening the bracket. And similarly, when you modify the existing columns, when you're altering the table and modifying the existing columns, if you want to change the length of the department ID to 9, and if you want to change the length of the department name to 15, okay, yes, you can modify the existing columns length or whatever. So table employee is altered. Now go and check the description of the employee. So now you see employee ID, employee name, salary, different department name, and it is 9 and it is 15. Correct?
Yes.
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 So you can alter multiple columns at the same time, or you can you can add multiple columns at the same time by using the alter query, or you can modify the multiple columns at the same time by using alter query. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And what else I told? I told about earlier. Suppose if you say select star from employee, so these are the records in the employee table. If I want to know how many employee names are starting with character Y, the alphabet Y. How many employee names starts with alphabet Y? What should I do?
Like of
Like,
Like
start with Y. So Y
uh
percentile.
will everyone agree? So this is why you people are not able to respond to my questions, because you are not practicing it and you don't remember the like operator. Only one or two people are responding. Agreed or not? Did you remember this?
Yes.
some.
If you remember, I expect the answer from you. If you're not talking, you don't remember that. That's what I
Yes.
assume. What will you get now? Huh? What will I get now?
You'll get all
Mhm.
the records.
But you have to write where clause.
So where?
Where employee name.
Correct?
Yeah.
I got all the records which starts with which starts with alphabet Y, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
For
Yes.
example, if I have one more query, so EMP ID is 400, EMP name is uh, something like this, EMP name is something like this, salary is like this. If I run this query, will this query run? Hmm?
Yeah.
Mm,
No.
Why it will not run?
You have to specify columns
I
because you are not
specify,
adding all the column details.
yeah, because there are 5 columns in the employee table. But how many values I'm supplying? I'm supplying only 3 values, correct?
Yeah.
Then definitely this query syntax is wrong, because the database don't understand that. Hey, you're supplying only 3 values and you're asking to insert the record, but there are 5 columns here, so you're not supplying the you're not supplying all the values. You're supplying insufficient values. That's what the database will give you an error, correct?
Yeah.
I told all
Yes.
these things. You have to practice. You have to practice. See, not enough values. I need not tell about these things in the class. When you practice it, you have to think about it. Okay, there are 4 columns. I'll supply only 3 values. What will happen? You have to check all these things. That is what I mean by practice. Don't just blindly do what I'm telling in the class. I cannot cover each and everything. You have to apply your brains and start practicing different things. And you have to see what will happen if I give like this. If I give like this, what will happen? If I give like this, what will happen? You have to think about it and practice by yourself. You should not blindly practice whatever I'm telling in the class. You have to practice different things, which I don't tell in the class also. You have to just apply your brains and practice these things. Getting it?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now it's not enough values. So I have to give the values. So maybe department ID, I'll give it as null, and department value, it means I'm not giving any values, correct? Null means there is no value,
Yes.
agreed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's saying that.
Unique constraint violated.
Why? Because there is already a employee ID with
ID
ID
with
400.
400.
I'm trying to insert one more employee with the same ID 400, but there is a primary key constraint on that column which will not allow the duplicate values, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So then I will enter 100 because
Nothing
I
on.
got the error. Oh, I thought that, oh, there is an employee with employee ID 400 already, so let me enter the 100. Oh, again I got the error because 100 is already present in the table, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So I go and enter 200.
I think 200 is also there.
How do you know that?
Right?
You remembered it, correct?
Yeah.
But after 1 year, can you remember that?
No.
No.
Otherwise, in the table, there are only 10 records you can easily remember. But if there are
Yeah.
million records, can you remember what are the IDs available in the table?
No.
No.
So if there are only 10 or 5 records, you remember 100 is there, 200 is there, 300 is there. But after 10 years or after 1 year, so there are millions of employees in the table. Now, when new employee joined your company, you have to insert a new record in the table. So, do you know what IDs are not used till now? Can you remember all the million IDs?
No.
No.
Yes.
You cannot remember all the million IDs, agreed? So you
Yes.
don't
Yes.
know which
Okay.
ID is used and which ID is not used, correct?
Yes.
So then you have to go trial and error, agreed? Oh, 100 is already used. Let me try with 200. Oh, 200 is already used. Let me try with 300. 300 is also already used. Let me try with 450. 450 is also already used. So then it's like a waste of time, agreed or not?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you cannot remember all the million things, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Then how will you solve this problem? Got my question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you see the problem here?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, employee ID is a primary key column, so it will not allow duplicate values. But you are insert. So today there are only 10 employees, but after 5 months, one more employee joined. You have to insert a new record. But when you are inserting a new record, you don't know which ID to be given because you didn't remember the previous IDs, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have to go by trial and error, which will take a lot of time and which will consume a lot of time, and which is not a good design. Agreed or not?
Yes.
Yes.
That is a very bad design. If you are going by trial and error, then what is the use of your programs and what is the use of your knowledge, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did everyone understand my point, what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Yes.
So, in order to solve this problem, I should, what kind of solution I have to give? Just think about it. What kind of solution if I give, I'm not talking about the syntax and all those things. Just think about what kind of solution will solve this problem. So I should not give the value by myself.
The system should generate.
System should generate the value, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what are the values generated by the system should always be unique. It should not generate the same value next time, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
If I give that kind of solution, will it solve my problem?
Yeah.
But system is who is the system here? The database. The database has to generate the values. The database server has to generate the values. I'm not giving any value to database. Hey database, please insert this record with this employee ID value. I'm not telling database. I'm asking database to generate the value for the employee ID. Getting it?
Yes.
Yes.
I should ask database, a database generate the value for the employee ID column. But other values you have to supply. But only for the employee ID column, the database has to generate the value, correct?
Yeah.
And database has to generate the value in such a way that it should not generate the same value again. Agreed? It always has to generate the unique values, correct?
Yes.
So that is possible with the concept called sequence. Getting it? There is a
Yes.
concept called sequence. First of all, you have to create a sequence in the database. In the data, you have to write a query and ask the database to create a sequence. Create sequence, create sequence, and give the sequence name. So you can give any name. Maybe you can say that empid underscore sequence. Whatever the name you want to give, you can give. You can give Ramji also here. But I'm giving a meaningful name. That's all. Correct?
Yes.
So create sequence empid underscore sequence, and this sequence should start with maybe 1000. It starts with 1000 and increment by 1. Increment by 1 starts with 1000 and increment by 1. Increment by. So this is how you're creating the sequence. You're asking the database to create a sequence with this name, and that sequence should start with 1000 and it should increment by 1. It means the first value in the sequence is 1000, the second value in the sequence is 1001, the third value in the sequence is 1002. Getting it?
Yes.
It will increment by 1. It will always generate a new value, and that value is 1 plus 1. Correct?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. It is not generating the previous values now. It will always generate the new values. The first value is 1000. Second time when you ask the database, give me the value, it will give 1001. In third time when you ask the database, give me the value, it will give 1002, because you told the database to create a sequence, and that sequence should start with 1000 and increment by 1. That is how you are asking the database to create the sequence, and the sequence will be created. Very syntax is wrong. Increment spelling wrong. Correct? Agreed?
Yes.
Increment by 1. So sequence is created. I asked the database to create a sequence, and database created the sequence, correct?
Correct.
Now the sequence is present where? It is present inside the database.
Yes.
When you ask the database to create a table, database is creating a table. The table is present inside the database, correct?
Yes.
When you ask the database to create a sequence, the sequence is created. The sequence is there inside the database, correct?
Yeah.
When you ask the database to create a procedure, the procedure will be created. The procedure will be there inside the database. When you ask the database to create a function, the function will be created. That function will be stored inside the database. Getting it?
Yes.
So I told that in database might have tables, database might have functions, database might have procedures, database might have triggers, database might have sequence, database might have views. There are so many things in the database. Getting it?
Yes.
So right now you know about how to create the tables in the database, and you also know how to create a sequence in the database, correct?
Yes.
So now this sequence is created inside the database. Now tell me, what is the value of this sequence? What is the first value? When I say select empid, I'm asking database what is the value in this sequence. Select empid underscore sequence. This is the name of the sequence, right? Select emp underscore
Yes.
sequence dot next val. It means the next value in the sequence. That is the meaning. From dual table, because this particular thing is not stored in any table, right? That's why you're giving dual table. Agreed?
Yes.
So
Yes.
from dual table, so obviously you get what is the next value in the sequence? Obviously 1000. It starts with 1000.
Yes.
You got 1000. If you run the same query again, you
One.
get 1001. If you run the same query again, you get 1002. Correct? So every time database is generating a new value, and it is not generating the previous values. Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So now database has a concept called sequence. You should create a sequence in the database. Now database can generate the values from the sequence, correct?
Yes.
Now in my insert query, insert into employee values, I should not give the employee ID here. I should not give the employee ID. I should ask the database to give the value, correct?
Yes.
So emp id underscore sequence dot next val. That's all. Comma. So when you send this query to database, database will go and fetch the next value from this sequence. Getting it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that value will be inserted into this column.
Record. Yeah.
So now when I run this query, one row is inserted. Go and check the select star from employee. See, I'm selecting only this particular portion, correct?
Yeah.
I'm not selecting
Yes.
the entire line. I'm selecting only select star from employee, only those 3 words, correct? And when I run it, only those 3, 4, the only select star from employee will be run. It's not the entire query will not run. Getting it?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the advantage of the SQL developer. Whatever the portion of the query you want to run, you can run only that portion of the query. Getting it?
Yes.
Whatever the selection you made, I made only this particular selection. I did not select this entire thing, correct?
Yeah.
If I select the entire thing, it will give me all the records in the employee table where employee name starts with Y.
Yeah.
But I'm just selecting only this portion of the query. So when I run this, it will give me all the records present in the employee table because select starts from employee, correct?
Yes.
And if you look here, the employee ID is 1003 because the next value in the sequence, employee ID sequence is 1003. That's why suppose next time when I run this query again, one more row is inserted. Let me select start from employee. This time I got 1004, correct?
Yes.
Because every time you are inserting this, you are inserting the record in the table, it will fetch the next value from the sequence, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you understand the importance of the sequence
Yes.
Yes.
and why
Yes.
sequence has to be created in the database?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can create any number of sequence. You can create an employee ID sequence. You can create a student ID sequence. So you can create the sequences, and each sequence will have its own values, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
instead of starts with 1000, you can say starts with 1. That's your wish, correct? Or
Yeah.
starts
Yes.
with
Yeah.
10,000. Whatever you want, you can start with. That is from where you want to start the sequence. You can start the sequence, correct? And if you want to
Yes.
instead of increment by 1, if you want to increment by 2, that's your wish. The first value is 1000, the second value is 1002, the third value is 1004, the fourth value is 1006. Getting it?
Yeah.
How do you want to increment the IDs, or how do you want to do? That's your wish. How do you want to create a sequence? That's your wish. So, but once you create the sequence, no, and when you ask the database, a database give me the value from the sequence, database will always give the value from the sequence. When you say next value, it will give the next value in the sequence. So the next value is 1000, the next value is 1002, the next value is 1004 because you're incrementing by 2, correct?
Yes.
Any questions here about the sequences?
No.
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 Okay. So now will you practice all the queries that we learned? So now tell me, if I say select start from employee where employee name starts with lowercase y, how many records I'll get? 1 and 2. I don't get these 2 records because it is uppercase y, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I run this query, I'll get only 2 records.
Yeah.
Okay? But when I say uppercase y, then
2.
So records.
there are 2 records with uppercase y, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all. That's all for today. I'm not telling so many things because I wanted you to install the SQL developer and practice all the queries that we have learned. Like you can practice the like query, you can practice the where clause, group by clause, having clause, you can create the tables, you can alter the tables, you can drop the tables, you can delete the data from the table, update the data in the table, select the data from the table, you can use the in clause, or clause, and clause. Getting it? We learned so many things. We learned so many queries, correct?
Yeah.
So you can try executing all the queries from the SQL developer client, because you already executed the queries from SQL plus. See, whether it is a SQL plus or whether it is a SQL developer, finally you're talking to the database by using this client, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Database understands only query language. So whether it's a SQL plus or SQL developer, you have to send the queries to the database from this client, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So please
Yeah.
practice everything. Practice how to create a sequence and practice all the other things in the SQL developer. So start using the SQL developer from today.
Sure.
Okay.
In real times, people use SQL developer only. So that's why if you see all these things I'm using in my application, correct? Correct. In my company, I'm using. That's why I created these
Yes.
many connections, correct? I created so many connections. I'm using the SQL developer in my application, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So if I want to know what is the data present in some of the tables, I'm using the SQL developer to connect to the database and checking the data present in the table. So this is what people use in real time.
Okay.
Yes. Right.
So start using the SQL developer from today. Practice all the queries. And I want everyone to practice before coming to the evening class. And be prepared for 2 hours class in the evening. We are going to learn so many things in the evening. I want to wind up the database by today.
Okay.
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 And one more thing, I'm not telling you how to create the procedures, how to create the functions, how to create the triggers. I'm not telling all those things. Okay. If you want to learn all those things, I can forward my recordings from my previous batches. If you're really interested, you can go and learn what is a procedure, what is a function, what is a trigger, what is the importance of what is the index. You can create an index also. So you can learn the importance of all those things and how to create them and how to run the queries. So all those things, if you want to learn it, I can forward my previous recordings. I think there will be 3 recordings on that. So within the 3 recordings, within 3 classes, you can learn all those things.
Okay.
So, but I strongly suggest you. So, I will forward you the recordings, but don't go through them now. After the completion of our course, so then you can go through all the other things which I did not teach you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So for time being, I don't forward the recordings. Also, if you want, I can forward it. But if you should not forget about going through them after the completion of the course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So let's meet again in the evening class. Evening, shall we have a class at 8:30 or 9 or 8 o'clock? Your wish. I am open for any time.
8 o'clock is fine.
8 o'clock is fine for everyone.
Yeah,
8 to
8
10.
o'clock is fine.
Yeah.
8 to 10.
Okay.
Should be
Okay.
fine.
Okay, fine. So let's meet at 8 o'clock Eastern time in the evening. And please practice
Yeah.
the things before coming to the class.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.